Hello, Christchurch. Great news. We met with the trustees on Sunday night and we have agreed a plan for us to phase back our meeting together starting on the 2nd of August. Now, there'll be another video next week which will give more details on the practicalities of that. There will also be an email coming out this week with some further information about what it's going to look like. Obviously, the government guidelines are there, and there's some certain things that we will not be able to do. For example, we won't be able to gather corporately to sung worship to God together in that way. But you know, wouldn't it be sad if many of us, which I know many of us in our church have done, if we left traditional churches because they weren't responding to what the Spirit was doing in that time? We decide, oh, well, hang on a sec, this is not the way I like it, this is not the tradition that I like. Suddenly decide, oh, well, I don't want to gather because I can't do that. You know, God, we worship God in spirit and in truth. And although we, for a season, will miss gathering together to sing his praises in the way we normally do, actually, we can still worship God in other ways as we will. Now, when you see the early church in Acts, in Acts chapter 2, verse 42, it says this. It says about the believers, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayers. And, you know, all four elements there we can do within the current guidelines. Therefore, we do, as elders, think it's right that we gather together so that we can listen to good biblical teaching, that we can have fellowship here together, socially distanced, of course, but still fellowship nonetheless, that we can pray for one another and pray God's blessing on people, and also that we can break bread together. And now how we're going to do this, just because of, again, the government guidelines, there's some stipulations in there. But what we're going to encourage people to do is every time we gather in this season, we're going to break bread together. And we're going to encourage you to bring your own bread and your own drink to have during this time as part of the service. And at an appropriate point in the service, we will break bread together and we will celebrate the Lord's sacrifice for us. Can I encourage you as well? You know, the pilgrims, the Jews, as they went up to Jerusalem to visit the temple, you get those psalms, Psalm 120 to 134. And as they used to walk up to Jerusalem, they would sing these psalms. They're known as the Psalms of Ascent. And what we're going to do, we're still going to provide all the online service that we are, because we know that some people won't be able to gather, and we may not be able to get everyone in this building at one time, or we definitely won't be able to at one time. We're going to offer 2 services in the morning, but we still probably won't be able to get everyone there, and some won't be able to make it for health reasons. So the online stuff will continue. But what we're going to encourage you to do is, like the pilgrims of old, let's sing our sung worship to God at home. So when you go onto the YouTube page there'll be an online service option, but there'll also be an online worship option, which will just be our recorded worship. So we were going to encourage you to sing your songs of praise to God at home, and then gather together as a temple of God to meet with God so that we can devote ourselves to biblical teaching, to fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. It's going to be great to be able to gather again. As I say, more details will come out over the coming week about how this is going to work practically. But I just wanted to give you the good news straight away that we're able to gather again. So that's wonderful. So be blessed, have a great week, and looking forward to seeing you soon.